Om Namo Narayanaya. We are continuing our look at Canto 3 in Chapter 3, the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavana. Sri Uddhava said, "Thereafter Lord Krishna went to Mathura city with Sri Baladeva, and to please their parents they dragged Kamsa, the leader of public enemies, down from his throne and killed him, pulling him along the ground with great strength. The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. Attracted by the beauty and fortune of Rukmini, the daughter of King Bhismaka, many great princes and kings assembled to marry her, but Lord Krishna, stepping over the other hopeful candidates, carried her away as his own share, as Garuda carried away nectar. By subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnijiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. While equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he himself was not hurt. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Narakasura, the son of Daritri, the earth, tried to grasp the whole sky, and for this he was killed by the Lord in a fight. His mother then prayed to the Lord. This led to the return of the kingdom to the son of Narakasura, and thus the Lord entered the house of the demon. There in the house of the demon, all the princesses kidnapped by Narakasura at once became alert upon seeing the Lord, the friend of the distressed. They looked upon him with eagerness, joy, and shyness, and offered to be his wives. All those princesses were lodged in different apartments, and the Lord simultaneously assumed different bodily expansions exactly matching each and every princess. He accepted their hands and perfect rituals by his internal potency. Just to expand himself according to his transcendental features, the Lord begot in each and every one of them 10 offspring with exactly his own qualities. Kalayavana, the king of Magda and Salva, attacked the city of Mathura, but when the city was encircled by their soldiers, the Lord refrained from killing them personally, just to show the power of his own men. Of kings like Shambhala, Vida, Bana, Mura, Bhavala, and many other demons, such as Dantavakra, some he killed himself, and some he caused to be killed by others, such as Sri Baladeva. Then the Lord caused all the kings, both the enemies and those on the side of your fighting nephews, Vidura, to be killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. All those kings were so great and strong that the earth seemed to shake as they traversed the war field. Duryodhana was bereft of his fortune and duration of life because of the intricacy of ill advice given by Karna, Dushasana, and Sabala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken though he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. After the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, the Lord said, "The abatement of the earth's great burden, 18 Ashahinis, has now been effected with the help of Drona, Bhisma, Arjuna, and Bhima. But what is this? There is still the great strength of the Yadu dynasty, born of myself, which may be more unbearable burden. When they quarrel among themselves, influenced by intoxication with their eyes red like copper because of drinking madhu, then only will they disappear. Otherwise it will not be possible. On my disappearance, this incident will take place." Sri Krishna, thus thinking to himself, established Maharaja Yudhishthira in the position of supreme control of the world in order to show the ideal of administration on the path of piety. The embryo of Puru's descent, begotten by the great hero Abhimanyu in the womb of Uttara, his wife, was burnt by the weapon of the son of Drona, but later he was again protected by the Lord. The Supreme Lord induced the son of Dharma to perform 3 horse sacrifices, and Maharaja Yudhishthira, constantly following Krishna, protected and enjoyed the earth, assisted by his younger brothers. Simultaneously, Lord Vishnu enjoyed life in the city of Dvaraka, strictly in conformity with the Vedic customs of society. He was situated in detachment and knowledge, as enunciated by the Sankhya system of philosophy. He was there, in his transcendental body, the residence of the goddess of fortune, with his usual gentle and sweetly smiling face, his nectarian words, and his flawless character. The Lord enjoyed his pastimes, both in this world and in other worlds, the higher planets, specifically in the association of the Yadu dynasty. At leisure hours offered by night, he enjoyed the friendship of conjugal love with women. The Lord was thus engaged in household life for many, many years, but at last his detachment from ephemeral sex life was manifested. Every living entity is controlled by a supernatural force, and thus his sense enjoyment is also under the control of that supernatural force. No one, therefore, can put his faith in Lord Krishna's transcendental sense activities, but one who has become a devotee of the Lord by rendering devotional service. Once upon a time, great sages were made angry by the sporting activities of the princely descendants of the Yadu and Bhoja dynasties, and thus, as desired by the Lord, the sages cursed them. A few months passed, and then, bewildered by Krishna, all the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, and Haka, who were incarnations of demigods, went to Prabhasa, while those who were eternal devotees of the Lord did not leave, but remained in Dvaraka. After arriving there, all of them took bath, and with the water of this place of pilgrimage they offered their respects to their forefathers, demigods, and great sages, and thus satisfied them. They gave cows to the Brahmanas in royal charity. The Brahmanas were not only given well-fed cows in charity, but also gold coins, bedding, clothing, animal skin seats, blankets, horses, elephants, girls, and sufficient land for maintenance. Thereafter they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs, first offered to Lord Vishnu, and offered their respectful obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas. Thus ends this chapter. As always, as I read this, I'm thinking of different things I'm reading, and this line at the end kind of threw me. It says that the sages offered all these things to the Brahmanas, including girls. They literally offered girls to the priests, along with riches, comforts, animals, land. It is insane. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's insane. These priests are supposed to be devoted to Krishna, and yet they're getting basically prostitutes, slaves. I've mentioned this in another video, actually, how these Brahmanas must have been hugely rich. Or, now I don't know this, and you could put a comment down below, it was a ceremonial offering. So they said, here's all these things, including these girl slaves, probably scantily clothed, and we're going to give them to you. But it was only ceremonial, and then once the ceremony was done, they were either told, you can take it all back, or it was blessed and given back, or distributed to others. But then you have the girls, do they get bounced around? I mean, that's just gross to me. I have no issue with prostitution. I have no issue with that. It's one thing for me to say I'm going to be a hooker or a prostitute or a hustler, but it's another thing for me to have a pimp. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that's good. That's modern slavery and past slavery. So I'm just saying that. It's not the issue. It's the sense of slavery I'm against. But it's like these Brahmanas, if they didn't give the stuff back, if they kept it, they were wealthy. Because according to this book, they're getting stuff all the time. According to the stories in the 3 cantos where we've read, they get lots of stuff. And they live in comfort. Now there's one more answer, and that is Buddha. Buddha came along and went, no, not in my house. And stopped all that, or tried to stop all that. And it was that corruption that he was speaking against. Don't remember my history of Buddha so well, being that I haven't really studied it in a long, long time, so I don't know which of these is here, but I'm reminded of the Catholic Church during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, where the church just got wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, and God was meaningless, I think, on many levels. It just didn't matter. Not for everyone, but for a lot of folks, it was just, God wasn't the thing. It was all about offering and riches and wealth and power. I don't know. But to read this now, it really does need some context to understand this. And these sages were living the world that they lived in and doing what they were supposed to do, and the Brahmas probably thought they were doing what they were supposed to do. Though I don't know, because to accept all these riches if they're Brahmanas devoted to God, I don't know. Maybe the concept of priest, Brahmana, minister, imam, is an imam, whatever is or rabbi. You can just go down. Maybe these aren't all really the same, and I'm confusing a monk with a brahmana, and I shouldn't. Maybe they're very, very different. They just kind of have the overlap of being religious folks, but they're very, very different. I don't know. Maybe a Brahma then is as different as between a monk and a televangelist today in the Christian society. I don't know. You could comment down below and fill me in on the history and the culture and the context, and anything else you want to share. And tomorrow we'll get into chapter 4. Vidura approaches Maitreya, so that should be kind of interesting, and talks to him, and who knows where it goes. Alright, thank you for joining me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.